Okay, spirit guides, universe, and angels, please stand beside me and guide me for Libra's highest good. How is Libra feeling in this third week of May 2025 with regards to one they're thinking about, dealing with, or manifesting in? 3 cards, please, for Libra. How is Libra feeling? If you're new, I do a 9-card spread. I get 3 cards for how you're feeling, 3 cards for how your person's feeling, and 3 cards for the outcome. I clarify why they feel the way that they feel. I get messages from them, and then I get you some advice from Spirit. Okay. So it could be someone that you're currently dealing with. It's someone that you are just thinking about. You're not dealing with them. Or someone that you're manifesting in the future. Okay, so we've got 2 cards in the challenge position. We've got the Knight of Swords and the Star. That's really interesting because swords are Libran energy. Okay, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Particularly, this is the major arcana for Aquarius, and I have a friend who's Libran, but she has Aquarius moon, so this could be applying to you. You could have Aquarius in your chart. Okay, but the Knight of Swords has to deliver an urgent message, and the Star it can be healing. You see the way that she's pouring water over herself, cleansing herself, but you see all these stars, it can be wish fulfillment as well. So, if you think about how we baptize ourselves with water, and water is pure and it cleanses us, it can be recuperation, rejuvenation, healing, but it can also be wish fulfillment. Now there's an urgent message that I think you want to deliver to do with healing or wish fulfillment, because they're a combination. So it's a combined message. They were in the challenge, actually, weren't they? So the challenge is, how do I communicate? Because swords are communication. How do I communicate this message about my healing or what I want for myself, as in wish fulfillment? Let's get some more cards and it might become clear. Two more cards for how Libra's feeling, please. Actually, I should open that window because I start coughing otherwise. You're supposed to let the bad energy out, aren't you? I'll let that all out. Okay, so we've got 2 cards again. What is going on with all these swords? You've got the World card and it's upright, so that's good. The World card is, you see she's got a wreath of roses. It's like, cycles, like this cycle is done. This is the end of a phase, it's the end of a chapter. In the story of the Major Arcana, the Fool realises that he must take life's rough with the smooth, okay? We can't always be having good times. He knows that better days are coming, okay? So that's very positive, the fact that's upright. And we've got the King of Swords. So you've gone from, it being questionable whether you're the Knight of Swords to then being the King of Swords. So again, Very much Aquarian energy, air energy. The King of Swords is a fantastic orator, writer, listener. He is very intelligent. Everything that the King of Swords does, he's thought about it many times. By the time he takes action or sends others to take action, that strategy was formulated weeks ago. Nothing is done on a whim. You know, kings sit still. They do not move like with pace. It's like everything is so much time is taken. So instead of this kind of flighty, like quick, fast energy with the Knight of Swords, we become the King of Swords, and we learn to bide our time. We learn to realise that there's going to be ups and downs, but better times are coming. This is a very nice, positive energy. The King of Swords is upright, so he is very competent, very confident, very wise, okay? So I really like this for you. It's really interesting that you've got so many swords coming out and you are air energy. One more for Libra. More swords. What is going on? So the Ten of Swords reversed. This is a positive reversal. Okay, when the swords are upright, it's anxiety, fear, pain, intrusive thoughts. 10 is the end of a cycle. And what have we got here? We've got the World card upright, which is the end of a cycle. And we've got healing. See, something's been really, really difficult, guys. And then we're being released from the burden of that because we've reached the end. So for me, this is a card of healing. It's not about wish fulfillment, it's about healing, because all of this represents the end. Tens are the end of a cycle. Okay, the World card upright is the end of a cycle, the end of a chapter. If the Ten of Swords was upright, it's like the Wounded Warriors continued all the way to the end. Because it's reversed, it's like I'm taking control, and now that I'm at 10, I'm just going to drop the burdens. So it's like you've absolved yourself of certain worries or fears or, you know, pain that you were experiencing. You've taken back control. Let's get 3 cards for the one that's on your mind, or the one that you're dealing with, or the one that you're manifesting in. Now, you're showing up as a king, so you probably have a lot of responsibility. You might run a household. You could be high up in work. You could also be married. Now, your person's got the Two of Swords upright, so they've blindfolded themselves. They're in the dark about something. They don't know what to do. There's a choice that they need to make and they don't know what to do. They need to make a decision about something, but they're choosing to blindfold themselves. And, you know, it's like burying your head in the sand, just like, I don't want to deal with it. So we've got a full moon. Now the moon card, in the story of the Major Arcana, this is Pisces energy, and it's about realizing that you must walk forwards anyway, even when there's plenty that you don't know. You know, there's plenty that you don't know, and it's scary having to make a decision, but you must proceed anyway. It's very important, okay? Because fear doesn't mean that everything's going to go wrong or that what you find out is going to be awful. Unknown things are just unknown, okay? It's like your first day at work in a new job. you just think you're going to have a terrible time, and then by the time you get home, you're like, well, that was silly that I made myself worry about all that. So even when there's fear and stuff that we don't know, we must learn to walk forwards anyway. Now, the other cards that came out were Solar Eclipse reversed and the Three of Wands reversed. The Three of Wands is about taking action. See, someone's made a decision, but they don't want to take action. And the solar eclipse, you know, when the sun was blocked out, people must have found that very strange in ancient times. They must have been very disturbed by that. I'm sure they found it very significant. So that kind of makes sense why you wouldn't take any action during this time, because you feel like maybe something really significant is taking place and it wouldn't be a good idea to make decisions or make moves right now. Let's get 3 for the outcome. Now, they're not showing up as a king or a queen, but let's see what comes out in the outcome, because sometimes we get one then. Oh, look, we've got the Knight of Cups. We've got the Ten of Wands, the Midday Sun reversed, the Rising Sun reversed, the Two of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups is like a Romeo and Juliet vibe. That's someone that wants to approach another and say, look, I think I could really fall for you, or I really like the kind of person that you know, that you are, and I'd like to get to know you better because there's something really special about you in particular. It's about feelings and wanting to approach someone and, you know, dating them and feeling like you could fall for them. Two of Pentacles is this infinite, like, juggling act. Like, I need to balance my priorities. I need to manage all of my responsibilities. Like, sometimes it's duality, wanting duality, needing to make a decision. You know, two's a number of balance. Ten of Wands is the wounded warrior. It's like, I've reached the maximum amount of burden and I'm so strong because I've been doing this for so long. The midday sun and the rising sun, when that's upright, it's like I'm going into a period of glory, of happiness, of being carefree. You know, the sun rises and then it reaches its highest point. So I'm not sure why they're reversed. Someone's been waiting for things to get good, and instead it's just continued to be really, really tough. They want to approach and show their emotions, but they want balance, they want reciprocity, they want duality. Maybe they don't know. They don't know how you feel about them. Let's get 2 more. Because you had the Knight of Swords and you had all kind of like swords energy, you had the King of Swords, you were dropping the burden in terms of, like, you know, 10 of Swords reversed. It's interesting because they've got the 10 of Wands upright. So you both got 10s. You've both reached the end of a cycle. So the timeline matches. I do think you're involved with this person, but I don't think you're married to them. You could be more established than they are. They have very romantic feelings for you, and they're afraid. Something's like, Something stopped this person in their tracks because they had that Three of Wands reversed. They weren't taking action even though they knew what they wanted. You know, and they just think everything's been so tough lately with the Ten of Wands upright. They've kept working towards it, but it's like everything's against them. It's challenge after challenge after challenge. Let's get 2 more for the outcome. So they're not giving up. They're the Ten of Wands upright. They're not dropping the burdens. They're keeping on going. This person's got used to things being difficult. They've just got used to it. They're not going anywhere. The Fool, they're ready to take a leap of faith. They're ready for this. Look, they've packed their bag. They're ready to take a leap of faith and do this. 0 is like a reset. It's like, you know, the next thing is an ace. Like, I'm ready to jump in. They're ready to go. Right, now we've got the 6 of Cups reversed with the lunar eclipse reversed. I mean, 6 of Cups reversed isn't great, because if that was upright, I'd say this person is really emotional and wants a soulmate union, or they feel that they found a soulmate, and it's causing them like to have high emotion. Look at all the water. They're worried about getting stabbed in the back. You know, the heart's aflame. There's a dagger. Like, with those 2 being reversed, it's like, do you think that an eclipse is temporary? It's a short few moments, isn't it? Like a maximum of a minute or 2 minutes where everything's blocked out. Maybe they thought for a minute that this was like a false union, you know, like that you weren't really meant to be together. Let's get some clarity. Let's pick some shadow love cards. Why did this person have the 2 of Swords? Why did they delay making a decision? So we've got public image. Worried about appearances, can't relax, conceited. Someone was very worried about what other people think. Okay, too much worried about that. Why have we got the 3 of Wands reversed? Why didn't they take any action? Up in the air. Unable to make solid plans, flighty, ungrounded. They didn't feel settled. They didn't feel like, you know, people would be supportive. Crushed. You are hurting emotionally right now. You need time to heal before you jump in again. So they'd been through so much, and then they had all these worries about what other people were thinking about it. You know, it just kept them so, like, up in the air, not knowing, like, whether to go ahead with this. That was before, and then in the outcome, as long as they've got reciprocity, they're ready to jump now. They've got the Fool card. I've just moved it back so you can see these outcome cards. crossing over, bridge the gap between your heart with trust. So perhaps there hadn't been quite enough trust built up, or something had, knocked like what trust you had built up. Entangled. Establish and communicate your own boundaries. Okay, so perhaps you were enjoying the frivolity of things, things being frivolous, carefree in the beginning, and then you had to start having conversations about, more serious stuff. Magic within. Create space for personal growth and self-discovery. This person's going through an ascension because of the challenges and the greater depth that they found that they didn't expect to find. Enduring quest. That's really nice because that goes with the Ten of Wands upright really well. Enduring quest. Through struggle, build the stamina to uncover and stand by your truth. It's been like a full-on journey for this person. Missed chances. Don't have regrets. Cherish your moments together. So this person's thought, I don't care now. Like, actually don't care. As long as this person is going to give me equal give and take, I'm ready. I'm ready now. I'm going to close that window because it's a bit chilly. Right, let's get a what lies beneath. Oops. A situation is about to explode. Things are about to pop off in flames. Why? That's interesting, isn't it? Because we have got the Six of Cups reversed with the lunar eclipse reversed. That's a bit strange that that's in the outcome, as well as the Fool upright. That's very strange. Other reasons for this person's reservations. Mirror. Mirroring each other's self-image. Relationships reflect our wounds, introspection. So perhaps the two of you are going through all this processing, shadow work, reflecting on the past. Cassette tape, outdated thinking, conditioning, replaying events over in your head. It's a lot of reflection, a lot of hesitation. Concerns what other people will think. What's the nature of this connection between Libra and the one that's showing up in their reading, please? Oh, God. There's loads. Sorry, they've gone all over the floor. So the one that was upright out of all of these was open yourself to love, because clearly they've been holding themselves back. So we've got open yourself to love. It is safe for you to let your heart be seen. Don't be scared. So that's really interesting, isn't it? Open your eyes. If someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. So I think there's trust issues here. Reconciliation. Someone from your past is or will be returning to your life soon. New love, a new chapter begins, whether it is with a new partner or in a current relationship. So you could have had a bit of a wobble or a pause, and then things are resuming like much stronger than before. We've also got law of attraction. You've been manifesting this relationship. Everything you want will soon be yours. Unbreakable love. This person has genuine love for you. You can overcome any issues that may arise. That's very positive. Twin flame. This person is your mirror soul. We have a mirror here. This person is your mirror soul. This is why this connection feels so sacred to you. Different paths. You are not on the same page with the person you have in mind. The directions you want to move into are different. Like, that's why there's been so much struggle and strife and off and on, because there needs to be balance. There needs to be a healthy balance of physical, emotional, and spiritual intimacy for a relationship to be sustainable. So you could find that if you've got a deeply sexual connection and it's magnetic and you're deeply attracted to one another in a physical way, even on a soul level, you feel like you've really opened up to one another. If there seems too many obstacles to actually get a steady relationship going, it does point to a twin flames connection, because twin flames are on fire in bed. Okay, they just are. And twin flames, it's to do with both of you provoking healing in one another. It's nothing to do with having a calm, relaxing, kind of sedate connection. It's nothing to do with stability. It actually is a runner chaser dynamic, and you have a very profound journey, but most of it is spent in conflict, or you have short periods of being completely thrilled and passionate with each other, but then long periods apart. Seems to be a lot of obstacles, a lot of drama. Nothing's really quite right about the situation, but you can't stay away from each other, like, because you feel like you've properly opened up to one another. You've had the talk, where you pour your hearts out to each other. You feel like you know each other really deeply, but you don't have, in the 3D reality, you don't have that day-to-day life where you're set up and everyone knows you're a thing. It never quite becomes that. It's like a secret between the two of you. Very, very intense, very, very special, but it doesn't really get to we're legit and, everyone knows about it, and, it's more like the two of you, like, having a private connection. Does that make sense? Last one. Pay attention to red flags. Know the warning signs of what an unhealthy connection looks like. So there could be things that have come up that you're like, actually, I'm not happy with that. They're trying to control this too much. Or they've got, some issues from the past that they need to work on. Well, so have you. That's why you're having a twin flames journey. Okay, so whatever it is, like, for example, in my twin flames journey, my person's learning to be someone that explores their emotional trauma and how they have relationships with others. My journey is to become more financially independent, okay, and not actually get into a steady connection, but to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and develop my career and stuff. So whatever weak part you feel you've got in your life at the moment, you're being forced to develop that. You'll know. You'll know, because I'm not a fly on the wall in your situation, but whatever, is like the sort of weaker part in your lifestyle, this is like triggering you to develop that. It's not about, you know, being all set up in a house together and, you know, making the kids' lunch boxes and doing the 3D reality. It's a more profound dance of two souls, like back and forth, and it's magnetic and it's passionate and it's much more dramatic than, you know, this day-to-day kind of like sedate connection that you get when you just set up with someone. That's kind of predictable and comforting and stable. A twin flames is very up and down, very dramatic, lots of barriers to this working, and you're forced to become more independent or more something in touch with your emotions or something like this. You know, it's about the two of you working on the part of your soul that needs the most healing. I think I've gone on about that enough now. Let's get messages from them. You make me want to do bad things. What did I say? It's a very sexual, a very, very sexual connection. If you weren't that attracted to each other and there was hard work that needed to be done, you wouldn't keep coming into contact with each other, okay? It's the sex that sort of drives it with twin flames. Love is the answer. Your family won't like me. Now, the cards, the oracle deck said that they were worried about what other people think. Okay, so 3 is a number of community. So they just don't feel like you two are legit or can be legit. Reach out, okay? So they're wanting an Ace of Swords, they're wanting a confession, clarity, revelation, strong communication. And we got a situation's about to explode, and you had urgent message, didn't you, with the Knight of Swords? And then you became the King of Swords, so you went more strategic rather than I'm just going to pour out what I need to and tell you whatever's on my mind. I'm going to go more strategic. Because kings don't move quickly, they sit still and they send messages via other people. I think so, yes. I need time for me. If someone's like put some distance between you recently, that would make sense. Look, I think we should slow down. I need time for me, I think we should slow down. You may have got some mixed messages from them more recently. You're so very special. What? I think we should see other people. And we had that 6 of Cups reversed and the lunar eclipse reversed. So it's like someone's really, really doubting themselves and they're starting to push you away. If this resonates, it's because someone is fantastic in bed, but there's been a long, hard journey. It's caused lots of anxiety, lots of pain, lots of fear. Other people have, you know, put their 2 cents in, which hasn't been helpful at all. And it's difficult to get a balance. It's really, really difficult to get a balance. They may have pushed you away recently, or they might start to do that. But I'm sorry, that's a twin flames journey. You're never really on the same page. It happens like it's very short periods where the flames overlap. Most of the time they're chasing each other and running away from each other. It's frustrating. You'll never be more frustrated than in a twin flames situation, but the sex is hot as hell. Oh God. But it's meant to happen because you trigger healing in each other. So, you know, it's done for a very good reason. The universe orchestrates it on purpose. If this person's been pushing Libra away, when is that likely to come back together? Next year? Maybe things will be unstable for the next year. Let's get you some advice. I mean, next year is like a good 6 months away, isn't it? Slightly longer. Content with what I already have. Hold on to what is constant in your life, to what is consistent in your life. Hold on to what is reliable, okay? Because this connection doesn't seem to give you, it gives you a lot of stuff, but it isn't able to give you that like stability that is secure, comfortable, reliable. You're not getting that from this connection. You're getting sex, intense, drama, obstacles. It's very Romeo and Juliet. It's very like, a plague upon both your houses, like star-crossed lovers kind of vibe. And it doesn't really ever get to a place where it's just two people building a life together. It doesn't get to that, You're meant to meet obstacles. You're meant to have large periods apart from one another. Advice for Libra, please. In the outcome, they're saying, I need time for me and we need to slow down. Yeah, I think we should see other people. The better it gets, when things happen that cause me to feel good, I know there are much more good feeling things coming my way. The better it gets, and I keep rising up. There's a strong, advice here to focus on what is already going well in your life. If you didn't have this connection, there is a lot that's good that's happening to you, like your health, your family, your parents, children, brothers, sisters, just beautiful experiences that you have outside of that. Even there's loads to be appreciative of, to not be in a war scenario or a situation where you're being abused. A lot of people are living in a hell, let's be honest. Look at this glorious sunny day. You've got to be grateful for everything that's going well, because you're not getting stability from this dynamic. And no one's saying you've got to give it up, but we've got to focus in order to be emotionally strong. We've got to focus on what is stable for us while this does its dance. Inner child. Reconnect with your inner child to heal past wounds and restore joy, innocence, healing, and return. There's something to do with your childhood here. This mirror, there's healing within you, Libra, that needs to happen. It's not just about this person. There's something to do with your inner child, or something that happened when you were growing up. Some sort of belief system that your parents had, or something you've witnessed. Something that you really don't feel comfortable with or agree with, or it's like if you grow up in a household where you believe that money's always going to be scarce, you can grow up obsessed with having lots of money, or, never making enough money. It's some sort of belief system that's occurred during your childhood, and you don't have to have lived in trauma, but, for example, I have a real lack of confidence in myself. I don't know why I'm like that, but it's just kind of there, and I have to work hard to overcome that especially in workplaces, or what I look like, People will think that I'm like obsessed with myself or I'm overconfident because I try to project that, or it can be like too much of a people pleaser because I'm terrified of like messing up. So I don't always stand my ground on stuff, or I can get railroaded a bit. So, it doesn't mean that you've lived in trauma, but it's just like certain ways that they are, to be honest, they are to do with our upbringing, styles of parenting, certain quirks that parents had. It does create who you are, or form like a shape of who you are, You might be headed for some time apart, okay? That's just a bit of a warning. Let's pull you an angel number. Right, you've got a few. 888, karma. Balance, finances, success, wealth, cycles. What goes around comes around. A lot of money is coming your way. Fortune refers to more than just monetary and material success. If you don't appreciate the people in your life now, you won't have them tomorrow. This message encourages you to take personal responsibility and use it to realise your greatest potential. Zero 440, the gut feeling. Intuition, betrayal, pessimism, relating, value, insight, increased perception, love, and monogamy. Follow your gut, it's more than just a feeling. Be real with people and focus on meaningful relationships. Remember, you also must bring value to the table. Treat others with respect, or else karma will bite your ass. 3 is a crowd. Oh my god. Getting a bit of a telling off with that one. 1144, high vibes. Divine intervention, prosperity, big ventures, fated events, faith, purpose, and higher calling. Love or other happiness lurks just around the corner. It will be something much better than in your wildest dreams. A rare opportunity, an exciting encounter with like-minded people will exceed your expectations. Well, that's good. I like that one. 1001, spiritual awakening. New beginnings, personal development, prioritising creativity, and heading in the right direction. A new phase in a religious or spiritual quest. You're going through a spiritual awakening, which can feel like a dark night of the soul. You're on the path to enlightenment, and this too shall pass. Okay, so we've got some good stuff and some bad stuff going on here. 1919, cycles, karma, warning. You've got 2 things about karma here. Judgment, influence, power, cycles. What was the other one that was cycles? It was this one, wasn't it? It was the karma one. Karma will be paying you a visit. Release the need to control because you cannot force things. Learn your lessons that they don't repeat in the future. Make some space for new experiences. So if a connection is just too difficult, it's just like no matter what you do, you can't catch a break. That's telling you something in itself. Okay. You must have had a connection, or maybe you haven't, but when something just works, it doesn't need you to try to fix it or make it work. It just does itself. Okay, when a connection's supposed to be, there aren't all these blocks and barriers and things that we need to overcome. So I think Spirit is encouraging you to let go of the reins and go with the flow. You know, if you're meant to be apart from this person for a while, allow it, because you're going to go through growth, they're going to go through growth while you're apart. And then if you're meant to come back together, that'll happen when that's supposed to happen, okay? We're not supposed to try to grab onto stuff and force it and keep pushing and trying to be strong. We're not supposed to do that. It's either flowing or it's going, you know? Right, I'm going to tidy those up and we will go on to Scorpio. Thank you for the likes. Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm like heavy breathing at the moment. I'm mouth breathing because I've got a cold. So sorry if you hear that occasionally. It was quite a clear a message, that spread, to be honest, even though we've gone through loads of decks, loads of oracle messages and angel numbers. It just kind of saying, like, give each other the space that you need now to grow. You've had that time together, you're headed for time apart, and it's not supposed to be this difficult. You know, the paths have crossed for a while and now they're gonna go apart for a while. You just got to dance the dance, I'm afraid. Okay, so let's get rid of the Libra card. We've got Scorpio.